What if I told you that you could literally turn back the biological clock inside yourselves in just 30 days? Welcome to my 1-month experiment with the longevity diet, created by Dr. Valter Longo. This protocol isn't just about losing weight. It's about triggering a deep cellular reset. Whoosh. But before I change a single thing on my plate, I need data, hard data. It's day 1, and I'm at the clinic getting a comprehensive blood panel and a biological age test. We're looking at inflammatory markers, fasting glucose, IGF-1 levels, and my baseline cellular age. The nurse just took 4 vials of blood. I'm currently 32 years old, but biologically, we'll see. The goal of this chronological journey isn't to starve, it's to strategically trick my body into a state of rejuvenation. Over the next 4 weeks, I'll be strictly following a pescatarian, predominantly plant-based regimen with specific macros designed to activate longevity genes. Let's see if the science holds up. Welcome to week 1. The first 5 days of the longevity diet involve a fasting mimicking diet, or FMD. The premise is fascinating. You consume specific macronutrients, mostly healthy fats from olives and nuts, low protein, and low carbohydrates, keeping your total calories between 800 and 1100 a day. Chop, chop, chop. To my body, it feels like a total fast, but I'm still eating enough to sustain basic daily functions. The reality? The first 3 days were brutal. I experienced intense cravings, a dull headache, and a noticeable dip in my physical energy. My body was screaming for its usual glucose hit. But by day 4, something shifted. The brain fog lifted, replaced by an eerie, laser-like focus. I wasn't waking up groggy anymore. This is the period where my body shifted from burning readily available sugars to tapping into deep fat stores, producing ketones for fuel. The hunger pangs slowly dissolved, leaving behind a strange sense of lightness. Whoosh. Week 2 is where the real lifestyle shift begins. Exiting the fasting mimicking phase, I transition into the daily longevity diet. This isn't a temporary cleanse, it's a long-term nutritional framework. My plates are now exploding with color. We're talking massive quantities of dark leafy greens, cruciferous vegetables, legumes, beans, and healthy fats from extra virgin olive oil and walnuts. Protein is kept relatively low, around 0.31 grams per pound of body weight, and it's sourced entirely from plants and occasional low-mercury fish. I've completely eliminated red meat, poultry, and dairy. At first, I worried I would feel weak without my usual chicken breast or whey protein shake. But surprisingly, the complex carbohydrates from black beans and chickpeas provided a much more sustained energy curve throughout the day. No more 3 p.m. crashes, no more desperate trips to the coffee machine, just a smooth, steady hum of vitality. Day 15th, the midway point. I'd love to say it was all sunshine and rainbows, but I hit a massive mental roadblock here. The novelty of the diet had worn off, and the reality of eating another bowl of lentil soup while my friends ordered pizza was psychologically draining. I felt a dip in my mood, a frustration with the culinary limitations. I almost threw in the towel and ordered a massive burger. But I reviewed my journals. I noticed that despite the cravings, my sleep quality had skyrocketed. Beep, beep. My wearable tracker showed my resting heart rate had dropped by 5 beats per minute, and my deep sleep metrics were the highest they'd been in months. That night, I pushed through the mental fatigue, and the next morning, I woke up feeling practically bulletproof. The emotional friction disappeared, and my palate actually began to change. Suddenly, a simple roasted sweet potato tasted incredibly sweet and complex. My biology was adapting. Tick, tock, tick, tock. Week 3 introduced another pillar of the longevity diet, time-restricted eating. Dr. Longo recommends confining all meals within a 12-hour window. I opted for an 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. schedule. This isn't an extreme intermittent fasting protocol, which Longo actually advises against for longevity, but rather a balanced circadian alignment. By stopping all calorie intake at 8 p.m., my digestive system gets a full 12 hours of complete rest.
This allows my body to focus entirely on overnight cellular repair instead of digesting late-night snacks. Integrating this was actually the easiest part of the month. The high fiber content of the beans and vegetables kept me incredibly satiated. I wasn't waking up at midnight wanting a snack. My digestion became incredibly predictable, and the subtle, lingering bloating I used to carry around my midsection completely vanished. It felt like my internal organs were finally breathing a sigh of relief.
Week 4, the final stretch. I wanted to test how this dietary overhaul impacted my physical performance. The longevity diet isn't designed for massive muscle hypertrophy, so I was curious if I'd lose strength. I hit the gym for a heavy resistance training session. To my absolute shock, my strength numbers hadn't dropped at all. While I hadn't gained new muscle mass, my relative strength and endurance were completely intact. But the most profound difference was the recovery. Normally, after a heavy leg day, I'd be hobbling around for 48 hours, crippled by delayed onset muscle soreness. On this anti-inflammatory, plant-heavy regimen, the soreness was remarkably blunted. My joints felt lubricated, the typical stiffness was gone, and I felt ready to train again just 24 hours later. The massive influx of phytonutrients and omega-3s from the salmon and walnuts was clearly acting as a systemic fire extinguisher for my body's inflammation. Day 30 has arrived. The experiment is officially over, and it's time to face the music. I'm back at the clinic to repeat the exact same blood panels and biological age tests I took on day 1. I've spent the last month weighing out lentils, fasting, skipping social dinners, and completely re-engineering my relationship with food. I definitely feel better. My energy is stable, my sleep is deep, and my mind is clear. But feelings aren't facts. I need to know if the biological markers reflect the effort. The nurse draws the blood, and the waiting game begins. It takes about a week for the full array of epigenetic results to process. Did I actually lower my IGF-1? Did my inflammatory markers drop? Did my cellular age decrease? Or was this all just a glorified placebo effect? The anticipation is absolutely agonizing.